Welcome to the Registered Investment Advisor Podcast, where financial services marketing expert Seth Green interviews experts, executives, and top producers to share can't-miss tips on how they successfully manage their financial service firms, grow their businesses, create great relationships, and influence the industry. And now, here's your host, Seth Green.
Welcome to the RIA podcast. This is your host, Seth Green. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by John Ripley of Smarter Retirement Solutions. John, thanks so much for joining us.
It's a delight to be here. Thank you so much.
It is our pleasure. Let's go back in time a little bit. How did you get into the business in the first place?
Started a company back in 2003, helping people understand how to manage their mortgage financing, how to manage their assets, the equity in their home. And we were fortunate enough to grow that company. And then here comes the housing crisis of 2006, 2007. We already had a very successful radio show. We'd invited a lot of other financial advisors on the show, and they just encouraged us to keep the momentum going and transition into helping people on the financial advisory side. So that was the genesis long time ago.
Well, congratulations on that. And I'm sure the longer version of that journey could probably be in a book somewhere if it isn't already.
It could, and my friend Tom Hegna has strongly encouraged me to write the book. So I'm about a year and a half behind on following his instructions.
All right. Well, Tom is a long time a friend of the show and has been on more than once. So if you ever need a referral to a publishing company, I'd be happy to connect you to one. But we're not here to talk about that. Who is an ideal client for Smarter Retirement Solutions?
Someone that really appreciates the concept that we have, that if all a fiduciary ever does is help you think about making money, they may be missing a really key important role in that fiduciary responsibility, which is to help you live life. And so we've coined a phrase: we want to help you make memories and not just money, because there's this season of life where you have the capacity, both intellectually and financially and physically, to enjoy the people that love you and that you enjoy spending time with. But that season has an expiration date that we just simply don't know when it's coming. And for many people that we work with, the expiration date is far sooner than they ever imagined. So we believe that if we can help you have resources put in place and have dignity in what our friend Hegna calls the no-go years, if we deal with that and we make sure that you can finish the race of life with dignity, then we can put a lot more capital into the go-go years, and you can go out and make some memories and have some fun with the people that love you.
That is a well-said answer. Are you focusing on any specific demographic, psychographic? Is there a profession? Is there, a type of business owner? Is there an age range that you like working with better?
We've stumbled into the federal employee arena kind of by accident way back in 2015, and we've grown to love that community with a deep passion. I grew up in a family not even knowing really who I was around, but all of my family either worked for the federal government in terms of civilian federal employees or military folks. My dad was a police officer in Washington, D.C. My mom worked in the emergency room. So I didn't know anybody growing up that didn't get up and go to work in some sort of service sector. We discovered that people that work for Uncle Sam have an incredibly valuable role they play, but the only ones that ever really get thanked for their service are the ones wearing a uniform. And when's the last time you landed in Chicago or Orlando or Tampa and went up and knocked on the control tower window and said, "Hey, thanks for getting me here safely," to an air traffic controller? We don't think about it. We just assume that it magically happens. Or when's the last time you noticed an FBI agent or an air marshal on an aircraft with you and said, "Gosh, my life is better because you're here today"? And so that's what we do. We proactively work with and thank federal employees for their service. So a lot of law enforcement officers, a lot of folks that work for the VA that help our disabled and wounded veterans. So that's an ideal client because our team has some great expertise. But then we've also, for many years, been working with business owners. We're business owners ourselves, and we understand some of the unique challenges of owning a business, and we bring a lot of expertise to the table.
What's working for you to get more federal employees in the door? Because that seems like a disparate there's a whole bunch of different subsegments of that market. It isn't just one big, hey, the message you would send to a local police officer is the same that you would send to a nurse.
That's correct.
What's working for you to get those folks in the door?
We've taken a lot of time and energy and partnered with a company called Smarter Feds, and they host workshops all over the nation. And we have the opportunity to deliver purely educational opportunities, either online or in person, to federal employees literally all over the world. And those folks find value in the education. And some of them don't have an advisory relationship. And so somebody on my team can kind of pick up the ball and help them make sense out of their benefits, because those things can be kind of confusing.
For sure. What are some of the biggest mistakes that those federal employees are making before they get you to fix them?
Well, if they're young, they're not thinking that one day they're going to get old. So they're buying a brand new vehicle every couple of years, or they're buying more house than maybe they really needed. They're assuming that they're going to be invincible financially, like we all did when we were 30. And if we can catch a 25 or 30 or 35-year-old federal employee and just show them the power of their resources, make sure they don't invest in the G fund when they're 30, but probably invest in the G fund when they're 70, that's a big difference, right? Sometimes people don't understand all of the parts and the horsepower they have, so they miss out on lots of market opportunities. And then oftentimes they have no idea how much risk they're taking inside of their thrift savings plan or their version of a 401k. And so they're well into their go-go, if not slow-go years, and they're still assuming they're investing just like their 30-year-old selves, and those two things are incongruent. So we make sure they maximize their Roth opportunities if we can get them to understand that, and we make sure they maximize and optimize their risk for different seasons of life.
That makes a lot of sense. You've been doing this a while. You expanded from original in the mortgage business to the financial services business, built up quite a practice in that. What's next? Are you adding anything else?
Well, if I was a little younger, sure, we'd add the whole world, but I'm not as young as I used to be. And my team would like just to have fun helping our own clients enjoy and making memories. And if we can build this message, and that really is the big theme of the whole book coming out, is this idea that there are little kids, grandkids represented in every room by the people we work with. And I'm trying to become an advocate for every granddaughter and every grandson out there that has a finite number of years that they get to enjoy life with their grandparents. Because as a young man who lost my grandfather at 12, but got to have my grandmother until I was almost 50, when she was nearly 99 years old, the power of the memories that we made together when I was little lasted throughout her entire lifetime. But had my grandfather only been focused on providing, which is one of the big flaws, I think, of all young dads, and grandfathers get a little wiser, but he realized that he had a finite number of years to make memories with me. And so those are the most precious things I still own, are the memories of my grandfather, and riding the tractor, and going to the feed store, and stopping at Dairy Queen, and going to the model railroad store. Those things are worth, a priceless amount to me, because he took a little bit of time, did something kind of ordinary, but made it an extraordinary memory in my life. And so that's really our mission at Smarter Retirement Solutions, is to help people understand the power of something simple with a little person may be one of the greatest gifts you ever give them.
Wow, that is beautiful. I mean, I'm thinking about my grandfather. So I can see the power of that. If you had to start over, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?
I would make more memories sooner with my own kids. That's exactly what I would do, because 25 years goes by in the blink of an eye, and it goes too quickly. So I try to share some of my failures and limitations as a dad, where I worked too much trying to be, quote, successful, whatever that looks like. And success in the eyes of a little person is time, and it's something simple. And so as a practice, as a team of financial professionals, we believe that the more clarity we can help somebody achieve on their financial resources, the more emotional freedom and permission they will give themselves to spend a little bit of money. It probably costs you 10 grand to take your grandkids on a Disney cruise for a couple of weeks. It's a lot of money. And so just in case we have a recession next year, just in case we have another 2008, just in case, well, then your grandkids inherit the $20,000 that you had left in your checking account. They go on a Disney cruise, but they didn't want that. They wanted the time with you. But if we can show you how to deliver value in your own portfolio for the things that you need legitimately as a human being, and it frees up a little bit of capital, doesn't have to be a lot of money. I tell people, look, my grandfather maybe spent a couple $100 going to train stores and Dairy Queen and the feed store and a couple of little country restaurants he liked. But those things turned into literally millions of dollars of value in my heart. So that is our primary mission, to help people get clarity on the slow go and no go years so they can make a lot of memories while they're cognitively able to do so.
You've referenced the team multiple times. Talk a little bit about the team that you've built.
We have wonderful financial professionals that continue to grow and expand their capacity. We have folks in Austin, Texas, in Colorado Springs, Colorado. We serve people in Denver, in Phoenix, in Tampa, in the South Philly area, in Sarasota, Florida, Orlando, Florida. We have folks that are both behind the scenes that you may never get a chance to see, and then our advisory team that's out in front working with folks every day. And we're growing at a pace that we enjoy camaraderie. We get together all the time. We do a lot of traveling together. And it's just a delightful experience to see people enjoying life professionally by helping other families get some clarity on their financial future.
Awesome. For our folks watching or listening who want to learn more, where is the best place for us to send them?
If they happen to be a federal employee or know somebody, they could just check out smarterfeds.com. That is the group that we work with for all of our federal education platforms, or smarterretirementsolutions.com. We would love to connect and see if we can be of service in some way.
All right. Well, this has been Seth Green for the RIA podcast with John Ripley of Smarter Retirement Solutions. John, thanks again for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invitation.
Thanks, everyone, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.